Hey guys, it's Fred again from Fred's Tech Hub, and this is the Tecno Pouvoir 2, the Infinix Hot 6 Pro, and the Tecno Spark 2. In this video, I will be doing a camera comparison between these three devices. But before we begin, let's talk about the looks and physical appearance here. These three devices share similar build quality and design. As a matter of fact, if you should clean off the label and branding, you will not be able to tell which one is which. The button placement, the port placement, and the antenna strap are all in the same position on each of these devices. So when it comes to design aspect and build quality, they look exactly the same. The only notable difference might just be the way they place the camera on each of these devices, the flashlight placement, and the fact that the Infinix Hot 6 Pro has a dual camera setup on the back. The real reason this device looks alike is because this is a one family product. Infinix and Tecno has a mother company called Traction, which is the umbrella they dwell in. So design ideas and production strategies is shared across the board. But enough of all this, let's jump into the real deal. On the camera sensors, the Spark 2 features a 13 megapixels rear camera and an 8 megapixels front-facing camera, while the Infinix Hot 6 Pro has a 13 megapixels plus a 2 megapixels dual rear camera and a 5 megapixel front-facing camera. And lastly, the Pouvoir 2 features the same sensor like the Spark 2, which is a 13 megapixels rear camera and an 8 megapixels front-facing camera. Hold on a second, please click that subscribe button to join this awesome family. And be sure to turn on post notification as well so you'll be notified whenever I post any new video. If you're in the market for the cheapest smartphone that can take a decent pictures, then you can't go wrong with any of these devices. On the first images here, it is very difficult to tell which one comes up on top. The images are sharp, they've got good contrast and good details. Though the Spark 2 images appear to be a little bit on the darker side, but other than that, you can't find any notable difference among these three images here. I was still curious to find the device with the best overall image, so I decided to zoom in a bit to see which has the fine details, and clearly the Spark 2 maintains more details than the rest. Then on the second image here, the Spark 2 maintained the original color of this car, while the Hot 6 Pro added more saturation to the image, which in turn makes the image look non-true to life. Then the Pouvoir 2 brought on a mixed result. Some part of it looks a lot like the Hot 6 Pro and very little on the Spark 2 side. Moving on to these other images here, the Spark 2 and the Pouvoir 2 added more contrast to its images and in turns lacked punchy details it maintained from the start, while the Hot 6 Pro kept its fine details and its overall image looks lively than its competition. Then to the flowers here, the Spark 2 and the Pouvoir 2 looks almost identical with very high contrast on it, images and super fine details on them as well, while the Hot 6 Pro stays true to nature with fine details but lacks punchy contrast of the Spark 2 and the Pouvoir 2. You're definitely going to be taking pictures of a human 80% of the time, so these reviews will seem unfinished if I don't throw in a picture of a human. Looking at these three images, the Spark 2 comes up on top very quickly with its fine details and good contrast on its images. Then the Hot 6 Pro filled its image with reddish and non-pleasing colors, though its images are sharp with good details, but the poor color it generates makes it fall short in front of the Spark 2, while the Pouvoir 2 stays on the dark side but still managed to produce better image than the Hot 6 Pro. If you're going to be taking low light images with these three devices here, I would advise you to always turn on the flashlight, because if you don't, you won't like the result. Moving on to the selfie cameras, the Spark 2 and the Pouvoir 2 has good details than the Hot 6 Pro. That's due to the 8 megapixels camera they offer, while the Hot 6 Pro has just 5 megapixels camera. The Hot 6 Pro image was on the softer side with no noticeable details, and on the other hand, the Pouvoir 2 has too much of color saturation, which I did not really like. I did a video test as well, and all these devices perform very well. The Tecno Spark 2 has rich contrast with fine details. The Pouvoir 2 follows suit, but not as vibrant as the Spark 2. While the Hot 6 Pro stays flat in contrast, making everything look washed out, but it still managed to maintain its fine details. It is very difficult to pick a clear winner here because these three devices perform very well and they have similar results. But since I'm making a comparison, I have to crown a winner. In overall test, I was more pleased with the Tecno Spark 2 images. It tests on top on almost every category that I tested. But I'll tell you not to worry too much about the other devices because they perform nearly as good as the Spark 2. No disappointment on which device that you will choose. So guys, share your thoughts with me in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about these three devices here, how they perform and which one you will pick. And also please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.